My fiancée laughed when I warned her she was making a mistake leaving me. I didn't stop her or beg. I let time deliver the lesson while I focused on building something she no longer had access to. You really think I'm going to regret this? She was laughing, actually laughing at me while her hand rested on the doorknob of what used to be our apartment. 3 suitcases sat at her feet. Her best friend waited in the hallway with a smirk that told me this had been planned for weeks. I'm just saying, Amanda, you might want to think this through. Think it through. She turned back to face me fully. I've been thinking about nothing else for months. You're comfortable. You're safe. You're boring. Derek makes me feel alive. Derek, the bartender from that club downtown where she'd been spending her Thursday nights with her work friends. 24 years old with a sleeve tattoo and a motorcycle. Hey viewers, before we move on to the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. I'm 29. Amanda is 27. We'd been together for 4 years, engaged for 8 months. Alive, I repeated. Okay. See, that's exactly what I mean. She gestured at me with her free hand. No fight, no passion. You're just standing there like you're accepting a package delivery. What do you want me to do? Get on my knees and beg? I want you to care. I do care. But I'm not going to perform for you, Amanda. If you've made your decision, then you've made it. She shook her head, grabbing the handle of her largest suitcase. You'll see. When you're sitting here alone in 6 months, you'll realize what you lost. Maybe, I said. Or maybe you will. That's when she laughed again. Harder this time. Right. I'm going to miss this thrilling life. Coming home to you watching financial podcasts and meal prepping chicken breast. Derek and I are moving to Austin next month. He's got connections in the music scene down there. We're actually going to live. Her friend grabbed the other 2 bags. Amanda paused in the doorway. I left the ring on the counter. I hope you kept the receipt. Then she was gone. The door clicked shut with a finality that echoed through the apartment. I stood there for maybe 30 seconds. Then I walked to the kitchen and looked at the engagement ring sitting next to the coffee maker. 3 months' salary, like the outdated rule suggested. But I had kept the receipt. I picked up my phone and called my older brother. She's gone, I said when he answered. Just now. Just now. How are you feeling? Honestly, relieved. He was quiet for a moment. You sure about that? Yeah. I think I've known this was coming for a while. I just didn't want to admit it. What are you going to do? I looked around the apartment we'd shared. Half the decorations were gone already. She'd been moving things out gradually, I realized. The print that used to hang above the couch. The throw pillows. The bookshelf that held her romance novels. I'm going to return this ring tomorrow, I said. And then I'm going to do something I should have done 2 years ago. What's that? Remember that business plan I showed you? The one Amanda said was too risky. My brother laughed. You're serious? Completely. We'd been living beneath our means for years. Amanda thought we were saving for a house down payment. We were. But I'd also been setting aside money into a separate account she didn't know about. Investment capital. Enough to launch the consulting firm I'd been planning since I was 25. Amanda had always shut down the conversation when I brought it up. Too uncertain. Too much risk. What if it failed? Wouldn't it be smarter to wait until we had more stability? So I'd stayed at my corporate job, climbing the ladder, earning promotions, being responsible, being boring. The next morning, I returned the ring. $15,000 back in my account. Then I drafted my resignation letter. 2 weeks' notice, professional and courteous. My boss tried to counteroffer. I declined. I appreciate everything, but I need to do this for myself. He respected it. Even wrote me a reference letter and said if I ever needed contract work to reach out. I spent the next 3 weeks liquidating, organizing, and planning. Sold the apartment. It was in my name only. We'd never gotten around to adding her because she'd had some credit issues when we first moved in together. Made $140,000 on the sale. The market had been good to us. I moved into a smaller 1-bedroom across town. Lower rent, closer to the co-working space I'd be using. My brother became my first business partner. He'd been working in sales for a decade and had his own network. We spent hours at his kitchen table mapping out our service offerings. Operations consulting for mid-sized companies. Process optimization. Digital transformation strategies. Everything I'd been doing for my employer, but now we do it for ourselves. We landed our first client 6 weeks after I left my job. A manufacturing company struggling with inventory management. $20,000 contract for a 3-month engagement. It wasn't huge, but it was real. We delivered results ahead of schedule. They referred us to 2 other companies. By month 4, we had 5 active clients and had hired our first employee. I didn't think about Amanda much during this time. Occasionally, I'd see something that reminded me of her. A song on the radio, a restaurant we used to go to. But mostly I was too busy to care. Then one evening, about 5 months after she'd left, I got a text. From her best friend, actually. The one who'd helped her move out. "Hey, I know this is random, but I thought you should know Amanda's been trying to find your new address. Told her I didn't have it. Figured you moved on." I stared at the message. "Thanks for the heads up," I typed back. "Why is she looking for me?" 3 dots appeared, then disappeared, then appeared again. Things didn't work out with Derek. She's been back in town for a month, living with her parents. I didn't respond. What was there to say? 2 weeks later, she found me anyway. Showed up at the co-working space. I was in the middle of a video call with a client when the receptionist messaged me. "Someone named Amanda is here to see you. Says it's important." I wrapped up my call and walked to the lobby. She looked different. Thinner. Her hair was shorter, dyed a dark red that didn't quite suit her. She wore jeans and a hoodie instead of the carefully curated outfits she used to spend hours planning. "Hi," she said. "Hi. Can we talk?" I checked my watch. "I have another call in 20 minutes. Please. Just 10 minutes. We sat in the lounge area. She twisted her hands in her lap. "I made a mistake," she started. I didn't say anything. Derek wasn't who I thought he was. The Austin thing fell through. He didn't actually have connections, just friends who let him crash on their couch. We fought constantly. He had a temper I didn't see before. "I'm sorry that happened to you," I said. And I meant it. I didn't wish harm on her. I was stupid. I was so focused on excitement and passion that I didn't see what I had with you. She looked at me with wet eyes. "I miss you. I miss us. I know I don't deserve another chance, but I'm asking anyway." I took a breath. "Amanda, I'm not the same person you left. I can see that. You look good. Really good. And this place, your own business? I'm proud of you. You told me it was too risky. I was wrong. I was wrong about a lot of things." "Yeah, you were." She flinched. "Is there any chance we could try again? Start over?" I thought about the past 5 months. The freedom I'd felt. The energy I'd poured into building something mine. The first time a client had thanked me personally for changing their business trajectory. The satisfaction of seeing my bank account grow from my own work. The peace of coming home to my own space without walking on eggshells about bringing up my dreams. "No," I said. "There isn't. Please don't shut me out like this." "I'm not shutting you out. I'm just being honest. You made a choice. I respected it. I moved on. In 5 months. You moved on completely in 5 months. I moved on the day you walked out, Amanda. Maybe even before that, if I'm being honest with myself." She stood up. "So that's it. For years together, and you won't even consider it. What do you want me to say? That I'll take you back so you can leave again when the next exciting thing comes along? That's not fair, isn't it? You left me for a bartender with a motorcycle because I was boring, because I wasn't exciting enough, because I wanted to build a stable life." My voice was calm. I wasn't angry. That was the strange part. I just didn't feel anything beyond a mild frustration. "People make mistakes," she said. "They do, and they live with the consequences. You've changed. You wanted me to care, remember? You wanted passion and fight. Well, here it is. My passion is in my work now. My fight is in building something that matters to me. And none of that includes going backwards." She grabbed her purse. "I hope you find someone who appreciates you," she said quietly. "I hope you figure out what you actually want," I replied. She left. I went back to my desk and finished my workday. That night, my brother called. "Heard Amanda tracked you down. News travels fast. Small world. Her friend is dating someone in my networking group. How'd it go?" "Exactly how you'd expect. She wanted another chance." I said no. "How do you feel?" "Good, actually. Lighter somehow. No regrets." None. 3 months later, we signed our biggest client yet. A $200,000 annual contract. We moved into a real office. Hired 3 more people. My brother and I took ourselves out for steaks at the nicest restaurant in town. "Remember when you called me that night?" he said over whiskey. "The night she left?" "Yeah. You said you felt relieved. I wasn't sure I believed you. I wasn't entirely sure I believed myself. And now I know it was the best thing that ever happened to me." We clinked glasses. The restaurant was the same one Amanda had always wanted to go to for special occasions. I'd always said it was too expensive, that we should save money. She'd resented that. And here I was, paying the bill without thinking twice, celebrating a business I'd built from nothing. I saw her one more time after that. About a year and a half after our breakup. I was at a coffee shop with someone I'd been seeing for a few months. Her name was Rachel. She was a project manager at one of our client companies. We'd met during a consultation and hit it off. She was smart, driven, and supportive of my work. Never once had she called me boring. Amanda was in line ahead of us. She turned and saw me, saw Rachel's hand in mine, saw the way we were laughing about something. Her face did something complicated. "Hi," she said. "Hey, Amanda. How have you been?" "Really good." "You?" "Good. Yeah. I'm working at a marketing agency now. Junior position, but it's a start." "That's great." Awkward silence. Rachel squeezed my hand gently. Amanda noticed. "Well, I should go." "Good to see you." "You too." She left without ordering. "That was her?" Rachel asked. "Yeah." She looked sad. "Probably. Do you feel bad?" I thought about it. "No. I feel grateful." "For what?" "For her leaving when she did. If she'd stayed, I'd probably still be in that corporate job, still playing it safe, still putting my dreams on hold." Rachel smiled. "So she did you a favor." "The biggest one she could have." We ordered our coffee and sat by the window. Rachel told me about her week, about the project she was leading, about the ridiculous email her boss had sent. I told her about our newest client pitch, about the expansion plans my brother and I were considering. We talked about going to visit her family next month. Real plans, real future, no drama, no games. Just two people building something together because they wanted to, not because they were trying to prove something or chase some imaginary spark. That night, I lay in bed in my apartment. Not the one I'd shared with Amanda. Not even the small one-bedroom I'd moved to right after. I'd bought a condo 6 months earlier. 2 bedrooms, downtown, beautiful view. Something I owned outright. My business had grown beyond what I'd imagined. We were on track to break $1 million in revenue by year-end. My brother and I were planning to expand to a second city. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. I almost didn't open it. But curiosity won. "I saw you today. You looked happy. Really happy. I just wanted to say I'm sorry for how things ended. And I'm glad you're doing well. You deserved better than how I treated you." It was Amanda. I read it twice. Then I typed a response. "I appreciate that. I hope you find what you're looking for." Short, kind, final. I deleted the number and put my phone on the nightstand. The thing about warnings is that they're only meaningful if someone's willing to listen. I'd warned her she was making a mistake. Not because I was arrogant or because I thought I was such a prize, but because I knew her. I knew she was chasing a feeling instead of building a life. I knew Derek represented everything unstable about the path she was choosing. I knew she'd wake up one day and realize that excitement fades, but substance endures. She'd laughed at me. She'd mocked the idea that she'd regret leaving. And I'd let her go. Not because I didn't care, but because I cared enough to let her make her own choices and face her own consequences. Because I respected myself enough not to beg someone to stay who clearly didn't want to be there. Because I knew that the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's building a life so fulfilling that you forget you ever wanted revenge in the first place. She'd left me because I was boring. Because I was focused on stability instead of spontaneity. Because I was planning for a future instead of living for the moment. And in her absence, I'd taken all that boring, stable, future-focused energy and built something remarkable. Not to prove her wrong, but to prove myself right. Right that my dreams mattered. Right that my approach to life had value. Right that slow and steady doesn't mean passionless or empty. I'd warned her. She'd laughed. Time delivered the lesson. And I'd moved so far forward that by the time she came back looking for what she'd lost, I was already somewhere she couldn't reach. Not because I was cruel, but because I was committed to a version of myself that she'd never believed in. The version that existed before she left. The version that thrived after she was gone. The version that finally stopped waiting for permission to become who I was always meant to be. Rachel texted me goodnight. I smiled at my phone and texted back. Outside my window, the city lights spread out like possibilities. Tomorrow I had a pitch meeting for our biggest potential client yet. Next week, my brother and I were signing the lease on our second office. Next month, I was meeting Rachel's parents. Life wasn't exciting in the way Amanda had wanted. There were no motorcycles or last-minute trips to Austin. But it was rich, deep, full of purpose and growth and genuine connection. The kind of life you build brick by brick. The kind that doesn't collapse when the first storm hits. I told her she was making a mistake. She'd laughed at the warning. I'd let her go without a fight. And in the space she left behind, I'd built an empire. Not of money or success, though those came, but of self-respect, of realized potential, of a life lived on my own terms. She'd wanted passion. She'd found it. Just not the kind that lasts. I'd wanted purpose. I'd found it. The kind that builds over time. The kind that compounds. The kind that doesn't need constant validation or excitement to prove its worth. Somewhere across town, Amanda was probably lying in her childhood bedroom, scrolling through social media, wondering how things went so wrong. And I was here, in my own place, building my own future, with someone who saw my stability not as boring, but as strength, who saw my planning not as limiting, but as caring, who saw my measured approach not as lack of passion, but as depth of commitment. I didn't stop Amanda from leaving. I didn't beg her to reconsider. I didn't chase her or try to convince her of my worth. I simply let her go. And then I showed her, through the simple act of living well, exactly what she'd walked away from. Not what she thought she was leaving, but what I became after she was gone. The lesson was delivered, not by my words, but by time itself. The great teacher, the patient judge, the ultimate arbiter of choices made and roads taken. She'd laughed at my warning, but time, as it always does, had the last word.